Hello, everyone. This is Adam with AEW Maine Treasure Adventures. Today, I want to share with you the greatest treasure that I was ever lucky enough to find. Now, if this is the first or the last video of mine that you'll ever watch, promise me one thing: you'll spend the time and watch the full video, share it out to the world, and treasure what I'm about to go over with you, as I have unfortunately lost this treasure forever. Not only was it the first time I've ever been to Pushaw Lake, it was also the first time that I've ever filmed anything underwater. It was recommended to me by my best friend of 35 years, Nick Hardwick. The underwater footage was filmed in 2019, and I never had any plans of releasing any of the footage. It was just to test out the new Nemo dive system. The first find, I didn't even need a metal detector for. I was able to eyeball a broken pair of sunglasses. Let's get back to my best treasure find ever. It was around 35 years ago. It started on a Little League field in Bar Harbor, Maine. I didn't realize it at the time, but this acquaintance that I just met would in a couple of years grow into my best friend. And by 15, we were inseparable. After learning to drive, we had the same vehicle, and we drove every square inch of MDI, even some inches that we shouldn't have been on. If we weren't in school or working, we were riding. Now that we had vehicles, we made up a new game. We got a bunch of our friends to get CB radios for their cars. One person would be it. They'd have to go hide while in their car the whole time. Every 3 minutes, they'd have to give out a hint as to where their location was. The rest of the crew had to find them. It was like hide and go seek with our vehicles. If we weren't playing games, we were driving together. 98% of the time, it was a non-stop comedy show with us. 2% of the time, we talked about everything else, from girls to school, work, life, places we wanted to see, things we wanted to do, and what we wanted to be when we grew up, all while making each other laugh until it hurt. A lot of the time, those laughs came from imitating and quoting some of our favorite comedies of all time, usually a Jim Carrey movie or anything that Chris Farley did. We were right up there with one of the greatest teams ever put together. We were like Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn. That's a Dumb and Dumber reference, by the way. I was like his Timon to his Pumbaa. Like Batman and Robin, every great duo comes to an end at some point. I was just hoping it was another 20 to 40 years longer. We did so much fun stuff around Bangor and Bar Harbor. I have a million memories and literally a billion stories. I remember when we took this comedy duo on the road. One day before spring break was about to start, Nick calls me out of the blue and he says, "Do you want to go on a little trip over spring break?" Without hesitating, I said yes. He then followed up with, "Don't you want to know where we're going?" And I replied, "No, I don't want to know. Don't tell me." The next day, we met at EMTC in Bangor and started what would be a 3-day, 69-hour straight drive, only stopping for gas. We went over 3,000 miles one way. We ended up at Kelowna University in British Columbia, which is literally a quarter of an inch on the map from Alaska. You might be asking yourself, why the heck did we go to British Columbia? We could have gone south, somewhere warm. Now, we went there because Nick met a couple of girls online. We legally bought our first alcohol at 19 there. It was the first time I've ever seen Nick drink. He got drunk on like a half a wine cooler. Meanwhile, I was on my 25th beer. I was like Andre the Giant when it came to drinking. He was like mini-me, just couldn't handle it. It was by far the most epic road trip I've ever been on. For 10 days, we laughed so hard, our faces hurt. We traveled hundreds of times. Myrtle Beach, Boston, New Hampshire. But that British Columbia trip, we still talked about it, even up to the last time we were together. Which the last time together, we went to a micro wrestling event in Bangor, Maine at G-Force. For Nick and I, our road trips were never about where we were going. It was just about the fact that we were going somewhere together. Now, everyone is afraid of something. To me, strangely enough, the one thing that I was terrified of, I had a face on March 8th, 2023. It was a phone call from your wife saying that you had just passed. Let's head back to the water for a minute. I need a little break. Here's one of our fish friends. Came over to say hi. This next target was a side piece to some sunglasses. The next find was a can. Here's a piece of a pipe. And some tinfoil. There was a bunch of other nails and stuff that nobody cares about that I pulled out of here. Let's head back to the story. Yeah. You ready? Nick, can I see your shirt? Nick's proudest moment was becoming a father. His second proudest moment was becoming a father again. His third was finding and marrying his soulmate, Jessie. I would like to think his fourth was having me as his best man, but I can't confirm that. One of the greatest things about Nick and I's friendship is that even though we both had different fears throughout our life, we helped each other by overcoming them because we knew that having a fear would only be holding us back from accomplishing something that we wanted to accomplish, whether it be a trip or trying something new. Whatever your fears may be, don't let them stop you from living the best version of your life that you can. Always put love over fear and never let your mind stop you from having a good time. Play lots of board games. Do as many of the escape rooms as you can. We always made one heck of a team when we were doing the escape rooms. Surround yourself with amazing people. Live life to the fullest, and always try to outlove one another. Make sure that you go and experience everything that you want to experience, because unfortunately, you never know when it's going to be the last time. Since Wednesday, and it's Monday now, I've locked myself in my house. Haven't talked to anybody. I've barely texted anybody but your wife, Jessie, to make sure that her and Kadance are doing okay. Just like you and I had talked about the last time that we were together. Over those few days, I've been forcing myself to become a better person. I would also encourage anybody out there, if there's something that you want to do, places that you want to go, do it. Find a way and make it happen. Stop saying things like, I'll get to it next week or next year. I'll make that move. Smash any fear that you have that may be holding you back from accomplishing your goals and living your best life. Because unfortunately, life doesn't last very long, and you never know when it's going to end. Even though Nick passed away way too soon, he got to live life more than most people that live to 100. He got to accomplish everything that he set out for. He wanted a career in law enforcement. He did it. He wanted to meet and marry his soulmate. He did it. He wanted to have children, Drew and Kadance. He did it. He lived, laughed, and loved to the fullest. And he did it without fear. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I would love it if you would share this video out to Facebook or anywhere for that matter. A family friend also started a GoFundMe. I'll add a link in the description for that. It's to help with Jessie, Kadance, and Drew with the financial burden that unfortunately comes anytime a loved one passes. If you can help out, great. If you can't, that's okay too. But please share the video. Either one, I would be forever grateful. It's cool and all when I find physical treasure. However, life is not about finding physical treasure. Whether you're cognizant of it or not, most of the time, the treasure is right in front of you. It's the places that you get to experience, and most importantly, the people that you get to meet along the way. Captain Nick Hardwick, and AEW out.